Hi, we're sitting here with Coach Brownell down here at Amelia Island for the ACC Spring Meetings. First off, Coach, you've been down here many years. How do you like coming down here every year for this event?
Well, it's a great place, certainly, and they treat us really well. It's good to kind of have a little bit of work, then get a little bit of time in the afternoons. So we have a good time with it. It's kind of good to reconnect as a group and just kind of talk about the issues of the day. This year there doesn't seem to be quite as many in men's basketball. I know from talking to Dabo at night that there seems to be a lot in football. But for us, this is probably, in fact, this is my 8th year, and it's probably the most tame set of meetings that we've ever had. So it's really kind of a good thing in a lot of ways, just because I think it means the state of our game is in a good place.
Does this help you build those stronger relationships with the other coaches, spending so much time?
It's a good way for us to kind of see each other in a little more relaxed social setting, and certainly you get closer to some guys than others. Some guys bring their wives down, and we get a chance to spend time, meet them, and so there's oftentimes there's a lot of similarities that, and some of the guys you may know or have known for a while, but it's just a good way to kind of let you and your spouse spend some time with different folks, get to know each other, and especially since we compete against each other so hard in the winter, it's nice to be relaxed this time of year.
You and Dabo been going around the tour, and now you got to come down here with them. Are you guys getting tired of each other yet?
No, I always have a great time with Dabo, and especially Kathleen, his wife. She's great. Paula and Kathleen get along great, so we always get to spend a lot of time together. This year, probably haven't spent as much time as most years, just because, again, the football, it just seems like those guys have had more meetings. I think they've got a lot more things going on, so they've been a little bit busier than we have, and busier than normal. But we always enjoy ourselves, have a good time, and how do you not at a place like this? So,
what are the topics you guys have talked about this week?
Yeah, we go through the basketball rule change stuff, anything that's involved there, and this year it's pretty minimal. Really, one of the more significant ones is just that the shot clock is going to go from 30 seconds to 20 seconds on a foul in the front court. Again, just to kind of speed up play a little bit like the NBA does when it goes from 24 to 14. We think that would be a good thing for the game. A little bit of simple stuff like coaching boxes and being able to review last 2-minute block charge plays with the circle there, the arc, and analyzing some simple things like that. That's more referee-based. We did talk a good deal about whether to go to quarters and to change the fouls in the bonus situation. That's kind of a hot topic. We experimented with the NIT. I don't think anybody's for that right now. Same thing, talking about a little bit. Some of the coaches are for 6 fouls. And so that was a topic of discussion. So we spent a good bit of time talking about those issues in terms of our game, but I think we've kind of come to feel like we really like our game the way it is. Scoring is up. I think ESPN numbers are pretty good, so I think we're going to keep it pretty similar right now and look at a couple more things, at least for another year or two before we have any more changes. And then really the other big topic for us was just kind of beginning to put our arms around the idea of the 20-game league schedule. And what that's going to mean and how that's going to change our calendar year in terms of, I don't know if it's just going to be 20 straight league games. We've toyed with the idea of moving it up, whether as early as starting the season with it or maybe even waiting a week and playing a game in November. It's so difficult because of final schedules and all the different building conflicts and different things that guys have to play 20 straight games. You want to avoid some of the football stuff when you can. So there was a lot of talk about the ACC network, us going to a 20-game schedule, and then how that would affect us. So those were probably the 2 biggest areas or topics that we spent the most time on this week.
As you look to next season, obviously everybody's dying to get back in the tournament. Do you feel like you got the pieces, and what do you think
I really
the
like
differences are?
I really like our team next year. I think we've got some experienced guys. I think having experienced guards is significant. Shelton Mitchell, Marquise Reed, Gabe DeVoe, that's 3 guys that are juniors and seniors that have played a good bit for us. I think that's a key to being successful in this league. It's hard to win with young guards consistently, and I think that proves itself out more times than not, unless you just have a guy that's a one-and-done pro that is just so talented. So I think that's one thing that I really feel good about. I think Dante Grantham will have a really good year this year. I think he'll come out from a little bit of a shadow of Jerron and maybe get some more opportunities and take advantage of those opportunities. And I think Elijah Thomas, Mark Donnell, the transfer from Michigan, I thought was a really key acquisition for us. I thought we really needed another big guy inside that can just help supplement Elijah. I think Elijah is a talented guy who is becoming more coachable every day and working harder every day, and kind of understands that, after spending 2 years in college, he probably hasn't achieved at the level he wants to, and that there's going to, more work's going to be involved and more commitment. And I think he's had a very good spring. And I think having a guy with him in Mark is essential at this level because of the quality of the players that we play against in terms of size. So Mark's a different kind of guy. He's a guy that can step out and make some threes, which is a unique characteristic for 5 men. So that's, I think, a good thing for us. And I like our guys. I like David Scarr, a guy who sat out last year that most people don't really know much about, who's kind of a glue guy at 6'8", 215 pounds, that can guard a bunch of different people and just kind of knows how to play, and really an easy guy to play with, and maybe a defensive-minded guy that we probably needed last year, to be honest with you. More of a guy who can really put on some guys that are big-time scorers, and he can cause some problems. He did a good job guarding Jerron a lot of times in practice last year. So, and then I think our freshman pieces will be good, but certainly I think when you look at our team, those older guys that I mentioned, it's really on those guys. I think they'll be hungry, and I like the way we worked out this spring. I think we have pretty good depth.
Obviously, the ACC top league in the country. How do you see the league next year? Because obviously that has a lot to do with how successful it can be.
Sometimes it's really hard because some of the guys in the league are still adding tremendous pieces. Obviously, Duke just signed 2. The top point guard in the country are coming back in terms of a freshman and another top 40 guy. So they're still adding big time pieces. Everybody's still kind of looking for that one missing piece in their roster. But the league will always be really good. Last year it was as deep as I've ever seen it, and as deep as most people thought it had been in 20, 25 years. There are just so many good teams. It was frustrating for us because I think we were a pretty good team. We just didn't finish off a couple games. So I think the league will be really good again, be very talented. Obviously, we have Hall of Fame coaches and unbelievable venues, and I think it could be there could be a little bit of a shakeup. I think some of the teams in the bottom that are a little more talented than people think coming back, and that can make for a very competitive league as well.